Welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're taking a deep dive into ramp analysis.
That's right. Routes, areas, movement, and profile people.
Exactly. Now, this isn't just theory, is it? It's a vital framework for managing crowds, especially at big sporting events.
Oh, absolutely. But, the principles apply to any large gathering, really.
Our mission today is basically to unpack each of those ramp elements. We'll look at some real-world examples, successes, but also, unfortunately, some catastrophic failures.
Yeah, and through that, we can understand how crucial comprehensive planning is. It's about safety, of course, but also creating that great attendee experience. It's quite fascinating, actually, how RAMP gives us this foundational tool. It helps understand, even predict, crowd behavior.
Right. Not just stopping bad things from happening, but also making things run smoothly.
Precisely. Optimizing that human flow, preventing tragedies, sure, but also making the experience positive. It's sort of more than just safety. It's the whole event ecosystem.
Okay, so let's jump right into this framework then, RAMP. It's this system for anticipating managing crowd dynamics. How do these parts work together, not just in isolation?
Well, that's the key, isn't it? Each pillar is critical. If one part fails, it can easily cascade and affect all the others.
Ah, okay.
When you look at the bigger picture, it's about making sure everyone feels safe, can move efficiently, and actually has a good time. Doesn't matter if it's a huge concert, a festival, a sports match.
Right. So let's kick things off at the beginning of the journey, how people get in, move around, and get out. That brings us to routes. What are we really looking at here?
Routes is all about the pathways, how people approach the venue, the entry points, then the internal circulation, and of course the exit strategies.
Okay.
The big question is always, where might bottlenecks happen? Pinch points. Think about the Hillsborough disaster. A key mistake there was opening Gate C.
Which was an exit gate, wasn't it?
Exactly. An exit gate. Used wrongly to funnel this huge surge of fans into pens that were already dangerously full.
Yeah.
Plus, there just weren't enough other access routes. It led to terrible crushing.
Such a stark example, but London 2012, that offers a real contrast, right? They seem to have nailed the routes part.
Oh, absolutely. London 2012, that was meticulous planning. They had transport strategies, staggered event times to spread out arrivals.
Ah, yeah.
Really clear signage everywhere, even those dedicated games lanes to keep things moving. It was all about ensuring that flow was as seamless as possible.
Okay, so you understand the paths, the routes, then you have to think about the spaces themselves. That's areas, I guess.
Precisely. Areas focuses on, well, the different spaces within the event, their capacities where congestion might build up.
So holding capacity, different zones, things blocking the way.
Yeah, all of that. At Hillsborough, again, those Leppings Lane terrace pens, they became death traps. High fences, way over capacity, basically nowhere to go. And Heysel, too, is another tragic example. Ineffective segregation of rival fans, plus really poor stadium infrastructure, weak barriers, catastrophic for those areas.
So what's the best practice look like then? Events like the FIFA World Cups, Qatar, Germany, what did they do right with areas?
They did exceptionally well. Detailed mapping of every single zone, strict capacity limits that were actually enforced,
Right.
and really effective segregation using things like buffer areas. They essentially created controlled environments inside the bigger space, preventing that dangerous overcrowding or potential clashes.
Okay, so we know the paths, we know the spaces. How do we then predict and manage the actual movement? This feels like the most dynamic part.
It really is. Movement is all about how crowds flow, the rates, the densities, dealing with sudden surges.
Yeah.
At Hillsborough, again, there just wasn't an effective system to monitor or control that fan flow in real time. And crucially, communication was so poor that authorities on the ground didn't even realize the crushing was happening until it was too late. And ports say the chaos with pitch invasions, the security response being too slow, it just completely stopped any chance of safe movement.
London 2012 comes up again here, though, doesn't it? Their approach to movement sounds pretty advanced.
Absolutely cutting edge for its time. They used real-time monitoring, loads of CCTV, sensors feeding data back constantly.
Okay.
And they combined that with proactive, clear communication to the crowds. Plus, really well-trained security, calmly directing people. That adaptability, reacting based on live information, that was key.
Right, that makes sense. Okay, finally, profile people. How does understanding the actual crowd, their characteristics, influence behavior and safety?
Well, this is where assumptions can be incredibly dangerous. At Hillsborough, there was this prevailing bias, authorities assuming fans were likely to be unruly. And that assumption tragically shaped their response, which was disastrously wrong. At Heysel, there was just a massive underestimation of the potential for hooliganism between certain fan groups.
So how do the successful events use crowd profiles effectively?
Well, look at the FIFA World Cups again. They invest heavily in intelligence gathering beforehand, understanding the different fan groups.
Okay.
Then they use culturally sensitive communication. It helps create a more festive, inclusive vibe, which naturally tends to reduce aggression and helps manage all those different group dynamics.
Okay, so pulling all this together, looking at these successes and tragedies,
Yeah.
what are the big takeaways from using RAMP, the most critical lesson?
I think the biggest lesson is just how interconnected it all is.
Yeah.
A failure in routes can instantly overwhelm your areas,
Right.
which then leads to dangerous movement no matter what
Yeah.
the people profile is like. Effective ramp analysis.
Mm-hmm.
It really demands proactive risk assessment, using data for planning.
Mm-hmm.
Clear communication is vital. Having adequate infrastructure, properly trained people, and this is crucial, being adaptable, ready to change things on the fly.
So it's holistic. You can't just focus on one part.
Exactly. It's dynamic. A weakness anywhere in that RAMP chain can unfortunately cascade into a major incident.
Well, that wraps up our deep dive into RAMP analysis. It seems clear the lessons from the past, both good and bad, really prove that understanding routes, areas, movement, and people's profiles is just paramount for any safe and memorable gathering.
It really is. And this maybe raises an interesting question for you, listening out there. Think beyond these big sporting events. Where else in public spaces, maybe even in your daily life, could applying this ramp thinking dramatically improve safety and just the overall experience? Something to ponder.
Yeah, definitely food for thought. We hope you've gained a deeper appreciation for the really intricate planning that goes into these grand spectacles, and maybe how these ideas apply much more broadly. Thank you for tuning in. Join us next time for another deep dive.